here's a story that I want to tell. And I want all of you to listen to this and listen to the story clearly. Look up the history of Scotland, right? And by the way, I'm no expert in Scottish history. I just know enough to get me in trouble. You know, that's all that I really know. Enough Scottish history to get me in trouble. But what I've always followed was that Scotland wanted to disassociate itself from England, United Kingdom. And there are reasons why, right? Under Thatcher, the United Kingdom tried to behave like Donald Trump, not Donald Trump, but Ronald Reagan. They were East Boom, if you will. Under Thatcher, everybody saw the light, right? I mean, but somehow they kept electing her, or she kept her prime ministership for a long time before Tony Blair came. But there was always some angst with Scotland. Because you see, Scotland believes in its people. It's sort of a nationalist government, but in the positive manner. So they really want independence from Scotland. So anyhow, the reason I wanted to give that little preamble, I mean independence from the UK, from England. The reason I gave that preamble is the following. My daughter, as you guys know, had a stroke, and her left side is compromised, and specifically her fingers on her left hand is very compromised. And there's a study using robotic gloves, to kind of wean the brain back into working those fingers, etc. That is the purpose. That requires intellect. That requires people who can think outside of the box. That requires people who can program something. That requires somebody who's willing to experiment, to think all these good things. Need to do what's a major role we always talk about? It requires somebody who knows how to innovate. All right? One of the selling points of our capitalist system is the reason we are allowing the rich to be parasites to the poor. The reason we are allowing the wealthy, the corporatists, the executives to be parasites on the average American citizen is because absent that, we don't get innovation. Because innovation is based on people thinking that there's going to be big profits, and that's how one gets innovation. I have proven the fallacy about that over and over again, but that is the belief. That is a belief that was inculcated into the minds of too many Americans. Somehow, greed is important. Gecko from Wall Street, greed. That is what makes America successful. Greed. No. Greed is what made America say, I will get as much as I want at all costs. If it means destroying Panama, if it means ripping off the bauxite from Jamaica, if it means excising all the bananas out of Guatemala and all these things at lower cost and make the farmers get little. That's what greed does. That's not what that's not innovative. That is getting wealthy off of greed. Greed is charging an arm and a leg for oil prices during a pandemic when people are just recovering and not feeling for them. Greed is charging $300 for a vial of insulin when it only costs you $6 to manufacture. Greed is creating a new product called Clarinex instead of holding on to Claritin, which is basically the same thing, just to enrich a few and charge the average American citizen more. That's greed. That's not innovation creating. Okay? Now, going back to my beautiful daughter's experience this morning. We go into the lab. She's going to be fitted with this thing that you see on the screen right now. She's being fitted with a robot created by this 28-year-old doctoral student named Melissa from Scotland. Okay? And it's amazing. Melissa doesn't know me. Melissa doesn't know Ashley. Melissa doesn't know anything about us. But we're talking. We're talking. And we weren't even specifically talking politics. But I just simply said one phrase. And the one phrase I said is, ha ha ha, ha, you're from Scotland. Didn't you guys try to get your independence from England, from Great Britain? I mean, not from the United Kingdom. Yeah, we didn't get it, but we got some compromises done and, some other things. And yeah, we wanted it. And one of the reasons we wanted to get out of the UK as well is we wanted to stay in the European Union. That's what the Scottish girl said. The Scottish doctoral student who got her doctoral degree today when she was done with my daughter's experiment with the robot on her arm. Okay. But here's what she said. Here is what she said. BDGMCP, that's a robotic finger stimulator for my daughter's arm developed by that 28-year-old doctoral student. And my daughter was a test case for the device. Now, here's what she says. Oh, none of my family ever went to college. I thought I was going to be a dancer. When I was in school, I really didn't have, nothing to push me or anything like that. In fact, I thought I was just going to get a little job, maybe at a hospital or somewhere, and also become a dancer. That was my goal. Okay? And what else, Melissa? But you know what happened? After we attempted to secede from the UK, our nationalist government decided to give everybody free college education who wanted it. Nobody in my family went to college, and I said, what the heck? I am not really into college, but I started to work at this hospital and I wanted to follow everything this person did because it was kind of cool. And then I went to college and I loved it. And when I got through my first degree and got through my second degree, and then I saw a program in the United States that, wow, I liked. And I said, let me apply for that doctoral program. And by gosh, I got into the doctoral program. And my thesis was to use some of the knowledge I got in Scotland about physiology to create a product to help those people who've had strokes and lost mobility in their limbs to help them get it back. And I created this product that you see on the screen to move my daughter's fingers. Where am I going with this? Absent. We talk about a place where opportunity arises for all. We talk about a place where if you want to succeed, you can succeed. But if you don't see the avenues to succeed, you'll never get the opportunity. Like I say, as I said all the times, America is not a meritocracy. You must be invited to be meritorious. It's not a meritocracy. You have to be invited. I did well when I developed software. A lot of times I wanted to pat myself on the back and say, oh, it's all me. Hell no. First of all, thank you, Texans, for creating a great university called the University of Texas with your tax dollars. Thank you, Texans, for creating an atmosphere back in the early days that afforded me the ability to work for NASA, Ford Aerospace, and all these other corporations where I also gained experience to produce. And thank you, taxpayers, for creating all the things necessary to create that platform where I could develop something. Stop. Now we have Melissa. Melissa then said, well, I won't go into the total details of her, but suffice it to say that because her scholarship is up now, she's heading back to Scotland. She does want to come back here and finish the product, etc., 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 etc. But here's the deal. No, she intends to make some money off of the robot. Absolutely so. She's going to capitalize on that robot because she invested her time and energy in it, but she doesn't want it all for herself because guess what? That robot was developed with a grant from the NIH, the National Institute of Health. Your tax dollar, Daniel Ledo, your tax dollar helped develop that robot that is going to help my daughter's hand come to fruition. Guess what? Yes, we all do this together. And she needs to monetize that robot and make some good money on it because it's her invention, it's her intellect that was primed by the Scottish government, that was primed by the American government, that was primed by the individuals who, at which school she goes to, which is a private Catholic school. So it's all of us together. The private school, the Scottish government, the UK government, the American government. We all work together and they created a robot. It's not one person. Melissa understands that it's not, oh, how all her. No. No. So therefore, she is going to come back and she's going to do a good thing. She eventually is going to get it monetized into making a product for everybody can use, and she'll make a decent living from part of it, but she'll be doing a whole lot of other things. Okay? So, the goal here, the intent here is to show if everybody gets the opportunity to succeed, think about all those people we are leaving behind. I've seen people everywhere, from the barrios to the ghettos to Appalachia. I've seen people with intellect that never came to fruition because there was no path. Society is there to give a path. Society should be there to give a path. Why not? Is it because those in the oligarchy want to remain those who choose? We will choose who will join the fold. We will choose who we choose to succeed. Those that will not buck the system. Those that will not do anything to try to make... Melissa's going to be a radical. She believes that everybody deserves an education. She's used to very high taxes in Scotland to support the society and live a very good life, not having the stresses of not having health care. And she pointed out, yeah, Great Britain, great health care in the national health system, but NHS, National Health Service. But she said, but we did England better. Inside of Scotland, we don't only pay for your health care, we also pay for your medicines. America is crazy. The richest country in the world. But what makes it also poor is that rich is not distributed equitably. I didn't say equally, I said equitably. The people that least produce, the people that least have intellect, are the ones with the most, because they know they decide to work it within the capitalist system. In other words, most of those, a CEO knows nothing about petroleum, knows nothing about all those things that make that company succeed. And the workers who actually make it succeed are the ones who have to go begging for a handout. And you don't think you're a slave? And you don't think that you have ceded your intellect to those that are undeserving? You don't think that? One of the things that America has been great in doing, in not teaching civics, in breaking the spirits of people, in breaking the spirits of women, in breaking the spirits of everyone in some form or the other. They emasculate white men by giving them that false belief that the rest of us are against them. They emasculate black men by trying to turn them into murderers and rapists when all the black men I know are great fathers. They try to remove the rights of women. You simply break people up into pieces. You destroy what they really believe in. You destroy their internal worth. And you know what you get then? You know what you get then? You get the disparity. you see here in America. That is what you get. So, to Melissa, who's developing that robot to make people's hands from strokes and other issues work better, she is the microcosm of what we could be if we ever decided to be a society who cared, really cared about humanity, who really cared about ensuring that all of us, not some, not the chosen, not the ones that the few decide to choose because they're less likely to buck the system, but the ones who can really, really make a difference. So I urge you all to see it. Daniel Lado says, LOL, only 17% of black men are working fathers. Apparently, Egberta knows them all. Wow. You must got that 17% from some sort of right-wing station. But what you better do is figure out the numbers again, because that is a completely and entirely false statement. I mean, just the numbers, just putting the number up that way should have you embarrassed to put that out there. To even put that out there is embarrassing. And you know, Daniel, I don't think you want to be a racist. I don't really think so. Like I said, I know you personally. What I do think, however, is that is how you think something that you can make a point to maybe embarrass me based on my hue. I don't know. Ashley is listening. She just said her mother, yes, her Melissa's mother went back to school because it's free and became a nurse at age 60. Her wealth, the family's wealth increased, which means they paid even more taxes so that they could support us all. It's called giving it back. Giving it back. Thank you for putting that out, dear Ashley, baby. That is so important. Okay, I needed to tell that story because, you know, it's funny. I told Melissa while I was in there with Ashley testing out this robot on her hands, I said, this is something that I've got. I told her this is going to be my show today. I wanted this on the show because I tell you, I don't want, you know, for those people that are hardcore, you know, look, the mind is an interesting thing, right? Let's say the mind is an interesting thing. There are people who would cut themselves up to figure out, just to be right. I think I played that piece yesterday that Norman gave us. And Norman was Norman was right? But the people that I'm trying to reach are not the unreachable. I use the unreachable to help me reach the reachable. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.